How's it going, Star Seekers? My name's GotCake and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a game called Spinny's Journey, which is a puzzle game where you have to navigate a spinning propeller through a series of mazes without touching the walls. Along the way you'll encounter different hazards which also need to be avoided, and collect pieces of your broken ship to reconstruct it and escape this dangerous planet called Earth. Now, Spinny's Journey is a pretty challenging game to say the least, so let's get on into this review and see whether you have the skills and determination to help Spinny find his way back home. So Spinny's Journey begins with an opening cutscene featuring some nicely drawn artwork, and we see a wizened old Spinny recounting the tale to his grandkids about the time when he went exploring the galaxy, found planet Earth where everything was huge, and had his spaceship destroyed by a bird. After barely escaping with his life, he then set off on a journey to recover his scattered spaceship pieces. Now, for some people, gameplay in Spinny's Journey may look quite familiar, as it's heavily influenced by a rather obscure Game Boy Advance title by the name of Kuru Kuru Kururin. Much like Kuru Kuru, Spinny's Journey sees you piloting a spinning propeller through challenging mazes, and while things start off reasonably easy, the difficulty of the game is quickly ramped up. We begin the game with a series of tutorial levels designed to familiarise you with the game's simple mechanics and control scheme. You use the left thumbstick to navigate the propeller as it slowly spins in a counterclockwise direction, and you have to use this rotation of the propeller to guide it safely past obstacles and round corners without touching the walls of the maze. In Spinny's Journey, you take 1 heart's worth of damage when your propellers strike a wall or are hit by a hazard, and there are no checkpoints in levels, so losing all of your hearts means you have to start over again from the beginning of the level. Taking damage also adds a few seconds onto your level completion timer, so avoiding collisions whilst going fast is the only way to obtain 3-star ratings for levels, which is much easier said than done. Now, as you work your way through the game's first levels, you'll be introduced to a number of different features which form the basic gameplay mechanics you'll find throughout the rest of the game. Firstly, you have checkered guide markings on the floor, and these are essentially safe zones where your propeller will be safe to rotate and shouldn't hit anything so long as you keep them within it. Next, you have healing zones which begin to appear as levels become longer, and these will restore all of your hearts whenever you're within the boxed area. Finally, you have springs, which you'll find affixed to walls in levels, and when touched, these will change the direction in which your propeller spins. Now, Spinny's Journey has 5 different stages for you to work through, each containing 10 levels, making up 50 levels in total, and as you play through the first stage of the game, you'll begin to get a feel for the game's difficulty and how precise you have to be in order to complete stages. You'll have to be conscious of how your propeller is rotating in relation to the curved walls, learn how to tuck your propeller into alcoves when the maze sections are too thin, and understand when and where to use your speed boost, which can be activated by holding the A button. All of these things are just the tip of the iceberg though, and as you get into the game's other stages, you'll encounter further hazards such as turrets which shoot out fireballs, and gusts of wind which blow you all over the shore, which you need to fight back against using your speed boost. Levels themselves are pretty well made, but the further I got into the game, the more precise I had to be with the piloting of my propeller, and things quickly became frustrating as even slight deviations from your intended flight path can lead you to hitting a spring too soon and bouncing off walls several times until you explode. So as I played the game, I found that with some very precise flying, the majority of levels I played could be completed without taking a hit, though there were occasions such as this where I could see no other way to proceed other than just to brute force my way through, which I found was a bit of an odd gameplay choice as it sort of goes against everything that you've learnt so far. While levels themselves are generally pretty linear, there are also occasions when you have multiple routes to choose from, one of which usually leads to a missing ship piece. Now, I'm gonna admit at this point that I only actually made it to the 3rd set of stages in Spinny's Journey, and this is solely due to how hard I actually found the game. Those of you that know me know that I've got a bit of a short fuse when it comes to rage-inducing games, and Spinny's Journey is well up there at the top of my list, but I still wanted to review what I had encountered in the hours that I spent playing the game. Despite its gameplay mechanics being very simple and on the surface it looking like a fun little puzzle game, I personally felt that the game became way too difficult way too quickly, and unless you're a fan of games which require repetition of the same levels until you finally crack them, then I can't see Spinny's Journey being the game for you. Now, in addition to the sheer amount of precision required to complete levels, there are a number of other things which also compound the difficulty. Firstly, due to the camera being close up to you, it's hard to actually plan ahead, so levels themselves require a lot of trial and error to get through them successfully, and the last few levels of the first zone were taking me upwards of 20 deaths to complete. The second thing that really doesn't help matters is the fact that there is no Pro controller support for the game, and the ridiculously small Joy-Con thumbsticks with their convex profile and smooth finish really don't lend themselves to performing precise movements using sweaty thumbs. While you do grow accustomed to them the longer that you play, several times I found myself struggling even to maintain straight flight through sections, and I would advise that you don't even attempt to play Spinny's Journey if your Joy-Cons suffer from Joy-Con drift. Now, I'm not going to say that I had a bad time playing Spinny's Journey, because I didn't. For me though, the game was just a little too much to handle, and it sort of felt like I was constantly playing one of those buzzing wire games where you have to guide the hoop around the wire without touching them together. Visually, I thought the game was alright. I think the developers did a decent job of presenting what is essentially a rotating stick and a maze, though I much prefer the retro pixel aesthetic seen in Kuru Kuru. When it comes to audio, I thought things were relatively generic in terms of sound effects and music tracks, though the relaxing and happy-go-lucky vibes of the music didn't really match the fury I was feeling inside as I played the game. In all, I thought the game itself was well made, and the developers did a very good job of replicating the Kuru Kuru gameplay style whilst putting their own spin on it. Fans of Kuru Kuru will no doubt be overjoyed at seeing this homage to the cult hit, and be eager to dive right on in and get the rage on once more. So now we come to rating the game, and I rate games between 1 and 5 stars, which is based on my own personal opinion on the quality and quantity of a title's gameplay, and whether I think it offers value for money to potential buyers. For a rating, I'm going to be giving Spinny's Journey 3 out of 5 stars. While I have no doubts that it won't be everyone's cup of tea, fans of Kuru Kuru and those that are looking for a challenge may just find what they're looking for in Spinny's Journey. Spinny's Journey releases on the 18th of January, and you can pick it up from the UK Switch eShop for £10.99 or from the US eShop where it's usually priced at $14.99. Alternatively, the game's also available on Steam. And that about wraps up this review of Spinny's Journey. Don't forget to hit that like button if it helped you out, and consider subscribing to the channel where I upload reviews of Nintendo Switch games every few days. For now though, I want to thank you all once again for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.